Now we need to cast your minds back to last year when we met a couple from Exeter who were giving away old kitchen appliances free to a good home.
Nothing too unusual there, you might think, but what was unusual about those white goods is that they were around 60 years old and all in perfect working order. Claire Manning has revisited this story to see where they ended up.
Wow. This was 1956?
No, not the washing machine. No, the washing machine was 1956.
Right.
Never before have kitchen appliances been given so much television exposure. But these goods at around 60 years old are pretty exceptional. Now, those of you who regularly watch ITV West Country may remember last year when I filmed these appliances at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Saunders, who wanted to give them to a good home. Well, I'm really sorry to say that since I last filmed with Mr. and Mrs. Saunders, at Easter, Mrs. Saunders sadly passed away. But her family tell me it was her wish that we see this story through. And so that's why I'm here today. Appearing with me on live TV in November last year was just one of many appearances Sydney and Rachel made in the media after their story about how they were giving away these old white goods made international headlines.
Well, we've recently bought a new tumbler dryer because that one is getting past it.
The charm of this story about how their tumble dryer, washing machine, oven, nappy boiler, all in working order, appealed to many. Well, fast forward now to February this year when Mrs. Saunders called me to say all the goods had been taken, mostly by a company using them to kit out a care home for people with dementia. How often is it you come across stuff that's in just such good condition from this era?
To be honest with you, this is probably one of the first times we've come across these items in this condition. I've not personally seen anything in this state, and I believe one of the items was actually used last week.
The obvious question to ask is, how do you feel getting rid of these white goods after all these years?
Well, it seems sad after 60 years being in this house all this time.
How do you feel about how they're going to be used?
I think it's a very good idea. People with dementia, their minds go back in years. It certainly will bring their memories back again.
I still found it a little sad, though, watching Mr. and Mrs. Saunders as they watched their appliances removed from their home. Well, recently I met with Sydney again at the Exeter care home where the goods have been homed. So, Mr. Saunders, we meet again. How does it feel being reunited with your white goods?
Well, they're looking good.
They are looking
Yes.
good.
Yes.
I'm so sorry that you lost your lovely wife. What do you think that she would have made of this?
Oh, she would have been happy to do it, yes. Yes. She's always very pleased how she managed to keep them in good condition.
Many people with dementia can't remember something that happened recently, but they often remember things from their distant past. Staff here told me once these goods are properly installed, they'll hopefully help reignite memories.
The dementia residents in particular, I think it's going to be great. It only takes something, trigger something, and they just sort of remember it or remember a memory.
Elsie's a resident here. She doesn't have dementia, but we talked about how even for her, these items remind her of her past.
My grandmother used to have a similar oven to this, and it's a very small oven if you look inside. So at Christmas, when there was a turkey or a goose, she used to take it to the local bakers and ask him, would he kindly put it in his own oven?
And it's memories like that, it's hoped, these goods will rekindle for people with dementia. But for today, they're a lovely reminder of a lovely lady who I really enjoyed meeting. I think Mrs. Saunders would be pretty pleased with their new home.
I think they would indeed. Yeah, Claire Manning with that report there.